Owen Lieberman of Entertainment Weekly says this movie is shamelessly watchable romantic schlock for the sassy set. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times says there is essentially not an original moment in the entire film, and yet it's skillfully made and well acted. And Letterboxd user Millie De Chirico says, I've seen this movie like 37 times. On this episode of Ruined Childhoods, we decide the fate of the cutting edge.
Sequel. Reboot. Which one will it be?
It's the Ruined Childhoods podcast.
Greetings, Starfighters. It's Ruined Childhoods time. How you doing? This is Dan. John, how are you?
I'm doing all right, and we have this is our 2 episodes in a row with a very special guest. We have programming manager at Turner Classic Movies, programmer for TCM Underground, co-host of the Sort of Details podcast, Millie De Chirico. What up, Millie?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
It's good. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yes.
And you're curating our May episodes, which is so cool.
I love that. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Well, your enthusiasm, especially when you mentioned how if we did the cutting edge, you were insisting on coming on. I was like,
yes,
we're doing the cutting edge. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
I'm a
Absolutely.
big Sort of Details fan.
Cool.
I know now that you two are across the sea from each other, it's harder to record episodes, but when those come out, I'm so excited.
Oh yeah. Yeah, big fan. I've been enjoying I recently listened to your episode on Cats, and even though I have not seen Cats yet, yeah, it was like not surprising. And it was funny just because I was listening to it, and I was a theater kid growing up. I was, musicals, and I never understood. I never went to see Cats. I never wanted to see Cats. Mm-hmm. And anytime anyone ever tried to explain it to me, they would say like, oh yeah, no, but it's from the poetry of T.S. Eliot. And I would just be like, okay. And, as though that was supposed to be, oh yes, now I understand why there's people dressed as cats singing and dancing. And, I mean, just your gut reaction to seeing it just kind of confirmed what I've always suspected about Cats.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like we're a little hard on the theater people on Sort of Details, which I have to apologize for because I know many of them.
Oh,
I just was never one.
we bring it on ourselves. It's all good.
Okay. Well, and it's funny because I truly, truly had no idea what Cats was about ever. Like even as a child, I never saw it. And, it's so funny that April just happened to be in town and, I hadn't seen her in a while and, we hadn't recorded a podcast in over a year. And It was like the first thing, she flew in just to torture me with forcing me to go see this movie and then recording an episode randomly. And, I was mad. I was like one of the one times I'm usually really good about goofing on stuff, and I'll pretty much see any movie. I'm not snobby in that way. And I do think that everyone should watch every movie. I also don't want you to not watch Cats because I told you it was terrible, but it was bad. I was mad when I saw it and couldn't believe that we spent that much money.
I haven't wanted to see it because I'm expecting it to be good. I have wanted to see it because of the oddity and the curiosity and just almost like the stamina. Can I make it through this? Can I make it through 2+ hours of what in the trailer is already a bit much?
Yeah, it's a lot. And I have to tell you, it's the last movie that I saw in a movie theater before coronavirus. So it's like this total stain on my record right now where I'm like, if these,
God.
we got to get rid of this virus so I can change this fact. I have to change this fact.
I have a question for you that relates to what something that has come up a few times on Sort of Details, but also these crazy times that we're living in. Is Pump doing like curbside takeout or anything right now? What's the status of the Vanderpump Rules restaurant empire amidst this crazy time we're living in?
Well, I have to say, I have given this some thought because, you know, the show is currently on the air as if not, this was obviously recorded before quarantine. So it's like, you know, it's kind of wild to see like a pre-quarantine existence. But I actually think that their restaurants are closed. You could not order, these goat cheese balls or whatever they serve there, but they're whatever they're famous for. You could not get them even if you wanted to. And I was actually thinking about whether or not their servers would be, you know, I'm sort of like, we're all right now rallying around people in the service industry because they're obviously out of work. And I'm sitting here going like, I wonder if there's like, I know that TomTom, one of the businesses in the Lisa Vanderpump portfolio, I know that they're doing some kind of like fund for their bartenders. Okay. But like, yeah, I don't know what the status is. I feel like they have so much money they could probably pay all of the people that work there like 6-figure salaries until this is over. Like, she just seems so insanely rich to me that could happen, but who knows? I could be wrong.
It just makes me so happy that you even had an answer to that question.
Yeah, leave it to me to think of like the dumb stuff during all this free time that I have. So,
no, what else are we supposed to do, right? But actually, what's happening right now at TCM? If you're allowed to talk about what's going on.
Sure.
At work.
No, I mean, you know, it's like business as usual for the most part. I mean, I'm working. I'm very fortunate to have a job, and you know, I think a lot of people are at home watching television. So, yeah, we're chugging along. We're still programming, still working on some stuff for the rest of the year. And yeah, it's just crazy times right now.
So when's TCM going to be showing The Cutting Edge?
I'm surprised I haven't tried to program it. I was like, maybe I could like double feature with like Ice Castles, which we have played before.
There you go.
I could do like, if I figure out who owns the rights, that's like 90% of it. So
right,
I'll do that work.
Well, shall we launch into The Cutting Edge?
Before we do, John, so we, Millie, if you're not familiar, we have a segment called One More Thing. It's our little window of opportunity to jump back into our ruined childhood's past and mention anything that we might have forgotten from previous episodes. So, and last week we did Ishtar, and I cannot run out of things to say about Ishtar. So, John, anything?
I don't think anything really comes to mind aside from, Dan, what you and I have discussed off mic, which is just how I want to watch it more. I want to watch it again. Like, I can't stop thinking about it. That's really all I have to add. How about you, Dan?
Oh, I just kept thinking about the whole Simon and Garfunkel parallel, and I was thinking about how both Simon and Garfunkel were in films, especially in the 70s, and Art Garfunkel worked a lot with Mike Nichols. And I was wondering if there was ever any talk of Simon and Garfunkel playing Rogers and Clark.
Oh. One can only wonder.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's otherwise, yes, I could go on forever about Ishtar, but that was kind
Millie,
of
are you familiar with Ishtar? Or have you shied away from it like most people?
I feel like I saw it when I was really young and can't really remember anything about it. I mean, honestly, it just feels like you just hear the legend of it. But in terms of the movie itself, gosh, I actually have a curiosity to see it though. Like, as an adult.
It's really fantastic. It really, really is. I think that right now it's just on like Showtime. I don't know if
streaming on Showtime.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it right now. But you're working for TCM. You can get a copy of Ishtar anytime, right?
Well, hopefully. I remember we tried to program it like probably last year. We have this like desire to do a programming stunt during Thanksgiving where we want to do like Thanksgiving turkeys, is basically what we want to call it. And just sort of like bring out all of the like big budget studio picture flops that like, you know, maybe we could have like a reevaluation of it. And I think we tried to do it, and just a lot of that stuff was sort of like, I have no idea like why it wasn't available. Maybe it was, you know, sold off to another network or whatever. There's a lot of reasons why that stuff happens, but for some reason we couldn't put it together. And I was like, are they not going to let us play it? Or, I mean, I'm sure they probably will, but so it'll probably make it onto the network at some point. But like, yeah, at the time we tried and failed. So.
All right. Well, we'll just keep our eyes peeled, I guess. Hopefully
it'll
pop up.
Yeah.
So, the cutting edge. Millie, I'm so happy that you suggested this because I had never seen it before.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
I'm so happy you want to talk about it.
Oh my God. I could not take my eyes off the screen. It's a special movie. So if it's cool with all y'all, I'll just get right into a little synopsis. This one's a little bit shorter than my Ishtar one, which Millie went on like way too long because that movie is so complicated.
Yeah.
The cutting edge is not complicated. So
No.
I'm going to launch into it. After sustaining a depth perception hindering injury, cocky athlete Doug Dorsey has gone from hockey hero to Sub-Zero Zero. Now the only thing more damaged than his ability to see correctly is his ego. Doug's options become less bleak after he gets an offer to try out to pair up with Kate Mosley on the ice as her partner in competitive pairs figure skating. Here's the thing. Working with Kate is no walk in the park, or skate in the rink, if you will. She's from a rich family and has been skating competitively since she was a kid. As it turns out, the one thing that's capable of melting this ice queen is Doug's persistence in and out of the rink and on their road to the Olympics. This will they, won't they story takes this unlikely pair all the way to the top, culminating in a performance of Olympic proportions. And that is my synopsis.
Nicely
oh my God,
done.
That's perfect.
I would say that, like, you know, I usually try not to like spoil endings for things, but something that's kind of special about this movie is that it kind of forgets to end.
Kind of forgets to end. Yeah.
It's
no
just
kidding.
like when the credits start rolling, it's just like, wait a second, what? Where's the rest? I need more.
I feel like they were just like, all right, this is a high. They're like George Costanza leaving the meeting after getting the laugh on the joke. And just like, that's it. I'm done. I'm out. They're just like,
this is what you came here for.
We've got that audience right here, right now, and we don't want to lose them. So, because, you know, we want them to rent Cutting Edge 2 when it comes out on DVD.
Or just go straight to ABC
14.
Family. I think that all the sequels are just ABC Family sequels.
Yeah. I got to tell you something. I have seen this movie an offensive amount of times. Like, I've seen it like people think that I'm like exaggerating when I tell them that I've seen certain movies a bunch of times. Like, there are people that I know that never watch a movie twice, which I think is so outrageous. But this is like comfort food for me, this movie. I've seen it, I want to say probably about 15 times, if not more. I gotta say that it's like, I saw it last night in preparation for this podcast.
Oh, good.
But I saw it like 2 weeks ago. And then before that, I saw it like probably around like New Year's. So I've seen it. It's fresh on the brain.
How did this movie come into your life? Do you remember like your first time really seeing it?
I definitely was in middle school.
Okay.
I think I saw it on VHS. And I have a little bit of a chicken of the egg problem because, okay, at the time, at the time that this movie came out, I just was watching a lot of HBO movies on television, but also we were like a video rental family. We never really saw anything in the theater, like first run.
Oh, really?
And yeah. My parents are extremely cheap. And they were just like, we're not paying like $5 to see a movie or however it was to go to a first run movie back then. So it was definitely something we rented from like the grocery store or something. And at the time, I was obsessed with this movie called Memphis Belle.
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, with Matthew Modine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, I like to tell people, it was like the Outsiders of like early 90s.
Oh my God.
Guys, right? Because it was like your Matthew Modine, Billy Zane, Eric Stoltz, Harry Connick Jr.
Oh, totally Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah. And D.B. Sweeney, who, and this is the chicken and the egg scenario because I'm like, I can't remember if I saw Cutting Edge first and then Memphis Belle, or if it was Memphis Belle that got me to the Cutting Edge. But the whole reason why I saw it is because I was obsessed with D.B. Sweeney, or I became obsessed with D.B. Sweeney at some point because of this film. I can't remember how it went, but he was a big reason why I watched this movie a bunch.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So I definitely remember seeing it like in middle school when it had come out, or maybe I was about to go to high school, or something. It was like 92?
92, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I would have been in middle school still. So yeah, it was something I watched on VHS for sure.
Mm-hmm. Man, I have not thought of Memphis Belle in so long, and now I just want to go watch it.
I know. To me, it does pop into my head every now and again because it does have that. And I'm looking at the cast now. You've got Tate Donovan in there.
Of course, Tate Donovan's there.
Yeah.
Where else would he be?
Where else would he? Well, I wonder how many of these guys, they're sitting around. They're like, so you're going to do a season of 24 in a few years? Yeah, you're going to do a season of. Didn't Tate Donovan?
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin.
And then of course, early 90s sex symbol John Lithgow.
Right.
Current sex symbol John Lithgow.
Yeah.
All-time sex symbol.
Well,
yeah.
In fact, I want to say that he played. So there was like the two adults, quote unquote, in the movie were David Strahair. Is that how you say his last name?
I'm going to say Strathairn, and the only reason I know that is because a friend of mine teched on a play he was in once, and I was like, well, you would know then. Please tell me.
Oh my God, Strathairn. I never. Gosh, that's a.
Who would have
I never thought about pronouncing it that way, but
it's called Yeah.
So he was like the boss or something, and then I think Lithgow was like about like writing a story about the guys. I can't remember the time change in the film where like, or if they're talking about something that had already happened, or if it was, but I know that he was an army guy, but I think he was a reporter. So I don't remember, but yeah.
But DB Sweeney was the lure to Cutting Edge.
And I mean, listen, this is no shade to DB in any way, but like looking back on it now, it is hard for me to kind of understand why I just picked him. I mean, think about all of the studs that are in Memphis Belle. I mean,
totally.
Eric Stoltz was also a really big crush of mine when I was a kid. And for some reason, I just followed DB into the fire. I watched 8 Men Out because of him. I watched Memphis Belle. I'm like, why am I a middle school girl watching these like historical biopics featuring this like white dude that's kind of a boring looking white dude. He's not like a big stud or something, but
he's kind of like he's like a little bit of a droopy Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Droopy.
Totally.
Yeah.
And then I wanted, because I was like, I almost said, because you said you followed him into the fire, and I almost just shouted out the title of a movie that I don't even know is real. But did he do something? I don't want to say, yes, Fire in the Sky. Thank you.
Yep,
I
watched that too. Yep.
Yes.
Fire in the Sky fucked me up.
Fire in the Sky is creepy.
I remember watching that one at home. It was probably a Blockbuster night, and we were watching a like family friend's dog. And I was watched Fire in the Sky and went to go walk the dog, and I was like terrified of the sky. I was like, get me inside. This is awful.
I mean, breaking news this week, we had reason to be concerned.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, it's real.
The truth is out
Oh
there.
yeah, confirmed all of our X-Files fantasies and whatnot.
Totally.
It was totally insane. And like everyone keeps talking about how it's like been buried because of everything that's going on right now. But I mean, I was like, wow, I can't believe they released that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
To shout out another D.B. Sweeney performance, and also a fine David Strathairn performance, 8 Men Out.
Yeah.
Right.
One of my favorite baseball movies. He was excellent in that, D.B. Sweeney.
Yeah.
He carried a lot of the emotional weight in that movie, and really.
Yeah, that was and
really
another one where there's like a group of dudes that are kind of modern, like because John Cusack was in that movie too. If I remember,
Cusack,
right?
Charlie Sheen.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do they do?
others.
I'm curious because that seemed to be a big thing for me when I was growing up. I think it's because I just was like a teenage girl that wanted to see like cute guys in movies and TV, but like those kind of like ensemble. I mean, I kind of call it like maybe like an Ocean's 11 type of thing, but it's that thing of like, let's get all of the hot stars
Get the hunks
of the time to be in like a historical drama. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and hey, we were all there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
I feel like they don't do that as much.
I don't know what that, but it's definitely a subgenre, and now I'm like trying to think of others that fall under that category, but like Outsiders, 8 Men Out, Memphis
Well,
Belle.
I mean, I'd say even going back to like the Rat Pack, you know, just a collection of hunky dudes. Or
here's a bunch of famous people
just something
that
for
you
everyone.
like.
Yeah. I guess
Here's
maybe
all the
closest,
celebrities.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe Little Women was like that, like the Greta Gerwig one. It was just sort of like, okay, here's like all of the like cool young people of the era.
Right.
And Bob Odenkirk.
Right. And then, wearing like period clothing,
Yeah.
So maybe there is a little bit of that today. But yeah, back in the day, that was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
And that's why I suddenly became fixated with
There's
TV
a lot of those that Ron Howard, like Parenthood and The Paper, were like that too.
Yeah.
Where I felt it was like, here's a lot of people you like, and they're in one movie together.
Totally.
I mean, if it was a way for me to become knowledgeable about history while looking at like cute boys, I guess whatever
works.
Yeah.
Yep. You need whatever that access point is. So
or competitive figure skating.
Yes. All right.
So to me, this movie was it kind of just like blurred all of the lines for me, where it's like I was watching it and I was like, is this movie bad? But if it is, then why can I like not? It's not one of those like movies where it's like, oh, this is bad, but it's funny that how bad it is. It's like there are things about it that are bad, but I think that the things about it that are good make me not care that there are some totally whack things about it, like chasing a tequila shot with a lemon. Who does that? That seemed. I did not.
D.B. Sweeney.
Could not believe my D.B. Sweeney does that. Also, there was this one line that I can't stop thinking about, and it's right after like Terry O'Quinn, the father of Moira Kelly, like writes him the check, being like, "All right, well, you tried, and thanks for coming out." And he looks at it and he goes like, "All right, what if I came back tomorrow, double or nothing?" And I was thinking about it, and it's like, there's no way that double or nothing can make sense.
Yeah.
So like he comes back and he fails and he gets twice as much, or he comes back and he succeeds and he lives there for 2 years and then only gets twice the amount of that check. How does this work?
John, double or nothing, all right?
Just double or nothing. All right,
Hey,
fine.
no, I come back, double or nothing.
Okay.
Don't question it.
Yeah,
Don't,
it was
because
like
you
you're
have to
not
say
in
it.
the position to offer that because you've been kind of let go. So
I know.
it doesn't really make sense to be like, "Hey, I'll do it for twice the amount that you were going to pay."
Terry O'Quinn is just like, oh, this guy's an idiot. Yeah, then come back tomorrow. I don't care. Whatever.
There's another line that caught my attention just because I made a connection when Moira Kelly is like, I don't want anyone, you can't tell me what I can't do. And I just thought of, because every time I see Terry O'Quinn, I think of him in Lost
Right.
as Locke. And he says that line like 1,000 times in that series. And that it just, I mean, of course, total coincidence.
Yeah,
but-
every time
Well, or does he wink at the camera in Lost after he says it? Like, that's for you cutting edge fans out there. Millie.
Yeah, I every time I think of Terry O'Quinn, I think of The Stepfather. Did you guys ever see that horror movie that he was in?
No.
Yeah, well, I remember seeing it a long time ago. It is the true story that it's based on happened in the town not the town we really grew up in, but the town we lived in before we moved to that town.
Born in. Yeah.
Oh wow, are you serious?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Westfield, New Jersey. Yeah, John List.
Yeah.
He was this guy who would like marry like single mothers and he'd like, live with the family and then he'd just kill them all and move on to another family.
Yeah, and he was super creepy in that, and and also like didn't have a mustache for the most part in that movie, and so it was like when I saw, I mean, I didn't see The Stepfather until I was probably like in high school or college, to be honest. Even though I think it came out before The Cutting Edge, I think it was the '80s, and I was like, this is the dad from The Cutting Edge. What is he doing? Why is he like murdering people? And why is he like in a basement with all these like serial killer tools and shit? I mean, I was so like, I'm sorry, I didn't know if I could cuss on this. I just said,
Totally.
okay.
Go for it.
Those words fly sometimes. I'm sorry, but
It's all right.
yeah. So like, yeah, it was so funny because I was like, and this is another thing too. I think that I didn't really get until like honestly like maybe even in the past couple of years seeing this movie is just her. Like, when I saw this movie as a kid, let me just say this. I definitely just kind of focused on the romance part of it and the sports part of it, but I didn't really think about them as characters, right? I didn't think about, like, D.B. Sweeney being this, hard living type of dude, and I did not really I just knew that she was supposed to be a snob, but I didn't think about her, like, lot in life, let's just say that. And when the whole interaction that she's having with Terry O'Quinn in this movie is so much more. Like now I'm watching it going, oh, she's like unhappy because she's basically been this like pageant princess,
right?
This like wealthy kept daughter of his, and how, so much of this is about his, desires versus hers. And yeah, so I mean, I was kind of like more in tune to that, I think now. I think obviously because I'm also just older and I pay attention to like parent stuff, but like, it's just crazy because. Yeah, I was like, he was definitely more of a presence to me as I watched it, as an adult.
There's something for everyone.
I also love the coach, the Russian guy.
Oh, yeah. Pamchenko. He's so good. He's so good. And I'm sorry, but I have to bring up, Millie, are you familiar with the movie The Last Starfighter?
I am, although I've never seen it.
Okay. Well, we start each episode by saying Greetings, Starfighter. It's part of that movie.
Okay.
But the Pamchenko, the move that this like crazy move that they do on the ice is to The Cutting Edge what the Death Blossom is to The Last Starfighter, in such that it even looks like it. Like
a weapon of last resort.
A weapon of last resort which is where the spaceship spins around like crazy with all of the blasters firing off, and it looks exactly like the Pamchenko if it were to be done on ice.
Oh my
like,
God, amazing.
It's amazing.
Good call. It totally does.
That's what I'm here for, Dan.
You know,
Wow.
the
Okay.
Pamchenko, like as a move, I felt seemed a little fiction. Like I was like, oh, this can't be a real ice skating move. Because when you're watching them do it in the the great routine at the end, which is, I guess, what makes them fall in love and the Olympics, she's so dangerously close to like just basically like splattering her brains all over the ice.
Yeah.
Where he's like doing that thing where he's tossing her and her head, like whoever, it was obviously done by like a stunt person, but I'm like completely scared for whoever is actually performing that, because I'm like, that head is very close to getting knocked into the ground as it's happening.
Right.
And I was like, this is a dangerous move, this Pamchenko.
But I gotta say, I was a little let down when he releases her and they don't actually show what she does in the air. It's all like close-up shots of like feet.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden she's like caught.
Yes.
And and I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
Give me a wide shot. I got to see this
I
thing.
know, and that's the thing, is that like that's what makes me think it's a little phony. This can't be real life. But also, there isn't even a creative way. They could have come up with a creative way of showing how it could actually happen, especially since that's the hinge on this entire, pretty much the entire movie, or the second half of the movie, is this sudden death move, like this crazy thing that this guy has, written on parchment paper from like the Dead Sea Scrolls and shit. Like he's been working on it for like 100 years or whatever. And then it's just this thing. It's like, well, this is too dangerous. We can't do it. And I'm kind of like, and they talk about doing it, which I'm like, even if they didn't talk about doing it, then we wouldn't be curious. But the fact that he questions the move, DB Sweeney does, and then they do it, I'm like, you're not going to even fake something in like CGI or something? Like, come on, like that's just not right.
Well, I was thinking about it, and it reminded me of the Triple Lindy in Back to School. And but in Back to School, because it's Back to School, you can just show that it is obviously a stuntman doing all, and just like close-ups of Rodney Dangerfield's face going, oh, and but I was like, you can't do that in the Cutting Edge, and it's like, like someone clearly in like a wig, and it's not Moira Kelly. So I don't know if they just did what they could do.
I'm sure that's it.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I loved watching this movie so much. Yes, I'm bringing up things that make it a little whack, but like it is, you can't stop watching this. It's like, first of all, the sexual tension is insane. Like
palpable.
They did an amazing job, like making you really want like something to happen. So good on them for making that so intense.
It's also too, I love that they're kind of like, I don't want to call them weird, but it's like, I love that they're who they are, right? Because like Moira Kelly, I think she's fantastic. And by the way, I just have to say, she did The Cutting Edge the same year that she did Twin Peaks Firewalk with me. I just have to say that. Like the range on that is like, oh, I'm going to do this like violent David Lynch film, and then I'm going to do this ice skating rom-com at the same time, pretty much. So I love that is her career. And I only really know her from The Cutting Edge and like The West Wing. So, to me.
And The Lion King.
She's The Lion King. I didn't know that. Yeah.
With honors.
With honors.
With honors.
That's right, with honors.
Yeah.
Well, and she did that the same year she did The Lion King. So going from being a Harvard law student to a lioness.
She's got range, baby.
Again, range.
Yep. And I love that she is who she is. She's kind of this like, I don't know, like dark hair. Like I always wanted there to be like dark haired ladies as heroines in movies because you didn't get to see it very much, and you always got like blonde princesses, and I'm like, anytime there was a dark haired woman, I'm like, yes,
Right.
bring it. But like, so she's the fact that she's the way she is, and that he's also like he's like a stud, but he's also not a stud. He's just like you said, like he's kind of like open mouthed, like. What did you call him? Paul Rudd?
So, like droopy Paul.
Droopy
Paul.
Yeah.
But not that. He's not Paul Giamatti, he's
They're just kind of like they're believable as people, I think.
Yeah,
and that's why I
sure.
love that. I love that about it.
Yeah. That is definitely true. Yeah. No, it's great. I love it. It's awesome. I will watch it again. Maybe not as frequently as you watch it, but I will watch it again.
This is my first time seeing it, I think, since VHS, since Blockbuster. If I remember correctly, I think I had a crush on some girl who really liked this movie, and that's why I watched it.
What you do.
That's he's right. That's what you do, right? Yeah. So, and I never like, and I know like there's, it's got a huge following. It's had, I don't know how many, I think are we calling them sequels? They seem to be like remakes, but
have
you seen them, Millie?
Yeah, have you? Yeah,
I quite frankly, I haven't because they're not in them, right? Because Maura Kelly and DB aren't in them. So I was like, why would I watch that then? I don't care if it's kids or whoever it's supposed to be.
Right.
Like, but I'm actually surprised that they did sequels. Like, it's just one of those movies that I was like, I guess I could understand it, but at the same time, I'm like, that's just such a weird movie to have be a franchise or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's the Cutting Edge 2 Going for the Gold, and then there's the Cutting Edge Chasing the Dream, and then the Cutting Edge Fire and Ice. And they were all, I think, produced for ABC Family. And I think I read maybe in the IMDb trivia that D.B. Sweeney and Moira Kelly kind of had a pact where like they won't do a sequel unless the other one is also part of it.
Oh wow! That's awesome.
Yeah, which is kind of like yes, please.
I know. I love that they had a pact.
I think that
awesome.
Right? It's a blood pact.
Yeah.
No, so I think I read
they used their skates. They used the blades of the skates.
Right.
It's in the outtakes.
In the second one, Going for the Gold, it's about their daughter. The Wikipedia synopsis says Jackie, in quotes, Dorsey, the daughter of Olympic gold medalist Doug Dorsey and Kate Mosley from the original film. So now we find out, if this is canon, that they did get the gold medal, which we do not find out in the original. We do find out that their romance goes beyond just that one kiss. So I think those are the only things but Doug is played by somebody else in the sequel.
Yes. Who is the Scott Thompson Baker?
Ooh, don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was looking at the casts for all these.
Who is
she's in it
Kramer?
too. Yeah. I was looking at the cast list for all these, and I was like, nope.
Yep.
Not interested. But one thing that I love. So I had written my synopsis, which of course is filled with ice skating puns, and then I read the taglines for the Cutting Edge, and they are like, it's almost like I just stole everything from this. So they are: the king of the rink is about to meet America's ice queen. When there's three more: when true love breaks the ice, theirs is a love skate relationship, and then the ultimate love skate relationship, which is amazing.
Wow, it won't leave you cold.
Ooh, no.
Oh my God. That is, I remember the love skate relationship thing, and
it's so good. So good. The sequel, Going for Gold, has a couple of taglines. Every ice princess needs her prince, and they're about to break the ice. It's just like, all right, we're out of them. Yep. Let's go back to the beginning.
Is there any like where like in the middle, like she's pregnant or something, so they could say ice, ice, baby?
Oh
Didn't
man.
get any of that going.
That should have been the subtitle of the second movie.
The second one, yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll never watch the sequels. So we'll just
Yeah.
get past that.
Can't do it.
I'm not going to bother reading any synopses because we already know it's the same thing over and over again.
Well, and also it kind of, maybe since you're looking at it, I'm curious. So does the daughter also find herself in a very tempestuous relationship with a hockey guy?
Okay. So there's a common thread in a lot of these. I'll read just a little bit of the going for the gold one. So yes, the daughter of Olympic gold medalist Doug Dorsey and Kate Mosley from the original film also enters the figure skating field with ambitions of winning her own Olympic gold. However, a serious injury derails that ambition. Always an injury. After months of training, Jackie is finally ready to skate again, but has trouble keeping up with the rigorous demands of single skating. Her parents send her on a vacation to LA, where she meets surfer boy / inline skater Alex Harrison.
Inline skater! Oh my god!
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. So I would be interested if it was a like an airborne crossover. I'd be into it then. But such is not the case.
Oh my god. That is so hilarious.
Then moving on to chasing, I'm just going to read a little bit of the Chasing the Dream one. So Zach Conroy and former lover Celeste Mercier lose the gold to rivals Jason Bright and Cindy Halyard at the International Figure Skating Conference in Tokyo. Zach and Celeste resolve to win the gold at Nationals, but Celeste falls in a practice and fractures her ankle.
Oh my gosh.
Oh no. So let's see. There is an ice hockey thing in that one. And let's see, Cutting the Edge Fire and Ice. Alex, in quotes, Delgado's figure skating career came to an abrupt halt after her partner, on and off the ice, became injured. As their love affair cooled, a heartbroken Alex stopped competing and turned to teaching. Enter James McKinsey, the smoldering bad boy of speed skating, who has had fiery Alex in his sights as a skating partner ever since he was banned from speed skating. Ooh, how do you get banned from speed skating? There are not many girls who'd say no to James, and Alex may be the first. However, James pushes her buttons, challenging her like no one else, and her fighting spirit returns. She agrees to be his partner, and they begin a grueling practice regimen, fueled and occasionally derailed by their own tempestuous relationship, which heats up as they get closer. I'm sorry, I can't stop reading now. It's just so funny.
The synopsis is written better than the script, I assume.
I don't know. I mean, I'll watch The Cutting Edge Fire and Ice. Why not, right? Sounds pretty good.
Every franchise needs its Fast Five, where all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, this franchise just got awesome.
Yeah, The Rock is in this one?
And we're just gonna throw The Rock in there. It's that would be interesting, though. What if you had and I didn't think of this for my remake, but what if you had a wrestler turned figure skater?
There you go.
Yeah.
A wrestler who's suffered one too many concussions.
I was doing a little
figure skating.
I was doing a little research. I hate doing this. I hate Googling the probability. Well, I mean, I think it depends. But it's like that thing where you're like, would this ever actually happen? Can we actually like when I saw Ad Astra, for example, I was like, how long would it take to get to Neptune? It seems like it's only taking 3 weeks, but it would actually take like 20 years. So I actually did Google. I Googled how could a hockey player become a figure skater, or how long would it take? And apparently it's almost impossible. There's an interview, I think it's on Nerdist, with Christy Yamaguchi or someone legit like that, and they're like, oh yeah, you couldn't. First of all, this movie is trucking in terms of timeline, because apparently they spanned the course of 2 years or something. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow.
I think 4 years.
Yeah.
Right?
And so I was kind of like, okay, so maybe that would be enough time to take this guy who was a professional hockey player, who, by the way, also has no, like 18% less peripheral vision than he did before.
I was just about to say that. How can he do this?
Yeah,
and has also, he's not exactly following a workout regimen when they find him. He's
no.
Yeah,
no,
he's basically like a construction worker, which I get, like you can be cut, I guess, but it's like, yeah, he's not Olympic level fit for, to learn a completely different discipline. And and also,
it's amazing.
Why is peripheral vision needed in hockey but not in figure skating or something? I don't understand how that works out. Like,
I feel like the Pamchenko relies heavily on depth perception.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of expecting that to come back a little bit, where like maybe he would miss a catch at some point and then she'd get all like jacked up and then he'd be like, my depth perception. Oh no, like there are consequences.
I know, I thought there would be like an eye therapy routine sequence where
a montage of just him like looking at a pencil
moving
in front of his face.
Well, basically it's like you gotta get your eyesight back up to Olympic form. I didn't understand why they kind of just dropped that, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's done with hockey, that's all we need to know. No, it's amazing. I love it. It's just so good.
I'm so happy.
They don't care, and it doesn't matter because it is a cult classic. Like, people, we're talking about it right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're it's so funny because seeing it as a kid, it was definitely like the thing. I just liked the romance of it, and then seeing it now, I still like the romance of it. I think you're totally right. There's sparks. There's a lot of sparks flying. But also he's like a lot more rough around the edges than I thought he was as a kid. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, he's like pretty rough guy. He's got a lot of rough opinions about stuff. It's that thing where I'm like, oh yeah, he's a total like. I mean, I think he was supposed to be painted as a redneck kind of type. You know what I mean? But and that she was the refined one or whatever. But
right. I did like the scenes where like they'd go back to his hometown with like his brother and like the bar and everything like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, I like that stuff. I thought it was great. Certainly love when like he's telling him, his brother, that he's getting into figure skating. You just hear a dude in the back go, finger painting?
Oh yeah, I think that's a legitimately funny joke. Like it wasn't
so funny.
Like it was actually like a really funny moment for that movie.
Ensign Dorsey. Hey, no, Lieutenant Captain Dorsey, huh?
Pull it with the Merchant Marine.
What? Hey, shh. What?
I didn't join the Merchant Marine.
Still got your sea legs? Shush. Well, if you weren't with the Merchant Marine, where the hell were you?
Let's go outside and talk about this, okay?
We're all family here.
Where you been? Tell us about it.
Well, come on. Tell me now.
Come on, Machine. Yeah. Well, actually, it's kind of interesting.
Tell him.
I've been doing a little figure skating.
What do you say?
You've been doing what? Finger painting?
That is really funny.
Yeah.
But you do. There's that one scene when I want to say it's when Dorsey meets her old partner, and the old partner's definitely like being bitchy at him.
Yeah.
And there's this like homophobic vibe. I didn't like necessarily write down the dialogue, and then Moira Kelly's just like, you'll get used to it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. He goes basically he basically gives Brian is the old partner, and
right.
So I guess Brian, they're kind of sizing each other up on the ice because they're both at the Nationals, and Brian is with Lori Pedorowski, I guess that's her name, the redhead. And and obviously Doug and Kate are together skating. And so Brian kind of gives them a little look and is basically like, oh, no wonder you've been keeping him to yourself, and gives them a little wink. And I think Doug's like, what? And then Moira Kelly's character basically says, you'll get used to it. And then I think he mumbles, "Yeah, right," or something like that. Like, you know.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, could be worse.
Yeah, could be worse. And also,
I
you know, like I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh, a type of guy like that, sure, why not? You know, like was a bartender in Minnesota or whatever he was doing before. Like, okay,
Yeah.
then maybe that tracks. But
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, it didn't. No, I wasn't like, I didn't angrily shut off the TV. I was though feeling, especially at the end, but also during scenes.
Dan, there was no end.
Oh, sorry. At the finger quotes and
Right before the credits, you mean?
You know, when they skated, the last time they skated, when it was to the song we hadn't heard before, they weren't skating to Yellow. And I mean the artist Yellow, not the Coldplay song,
Right,
but
right.
the which is what they were skating to. I think that wasn't that like one of his. It sounded like him. I don't know.
Yeah.
That they were skating to throughout the rest of the movie, and then, but I got this feeling, and also during the press conference at the Olympics, it felt very Rocky / Karate Kid. And
Totally.
I just wanted to, I wanted a John G. Avildsen cutting edge,
Huh.
but not now. Then,
Right.
Yeah, no,
of
there
course.
was a lot of like pro USA stuff going on in that movie. Like there was a shot, I think it was at the Olympics, where they just do like a zoom into like somebody holding the American flag in the crowd, and I'm trying to remember what was going on at the time. I guess the Gulf War or something. I don't know, but like I was I was like, wow, this is like kind of a pro-American thing. I mean, I know they shot it in Canada, so I'm like, okay, I don't know if they were trying to, you know, they were like overcompensating for it or something, but I don't know. It seemed very. That's what I think you mean about Rocky. And there was a lot of like allusions to like Russian people and stuff. Like I was like, okay, interesting.
there was that, but I felt there was also just the music and the music, the cinematography, especially when they're about to try the Parchenko. I'm going to pronounce
Pamchenko. Come on, Dan.
Pamchenko. Sorry, Parcheesi. And when they're about to do that, and I just felt all of a sudden like it was like Daniel LaRusso doing the crane kick, or like, you know, when they're going out on the ice, LaRusso's gonna fight. It had that feeling to it. So I just wondered. No disrespect to the director of Paul Glazer, I think. The director of Cutting Edge, but
Paul Michael Glazer, yeah.
Paul Michael Glazer.
It wasn't he Starsky in Starsky and Hutch?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh,
I think.
yes.
Or was he
Okay.
Starsky or Hutch? I can't remember. The original.
Starsky
was
sounds
TV
about
show.
right.
Yeah.
So all due respect to Starsky, I was like, oh man, John G. Avildsen never really did like a romantic, like there's romance in Rocky and in the Karate Kid, but the sports is the focus, and be like, oh, it'd be cool to see him do something where the romance is more of the centerpiece.
Can I ask you guys, like, were you into the Olympics when you were a kid, or maybe are now?
really.
I don't know. Thoughts on the Olympics?
No, I think that it was just like, hey, this is happening, but like wasn't getting like super intense about anything.
It was cool. You just kind of turn it on at it's like, oh, cool, they're bobsledding. Oh, that looks like fun. Okay.
Yeah, I want to say, because I was like really feeling the Olympic outfits. Like I loved her like Olympic turtleneck that she wore at one point.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was during the big like family fight scene where she was basically like, I just wish you had told me that I could just be your daughter or whatever. She's wearing this like USA Olympic turtleneck that I'm like, damn, I would love to rock that right now. And then they also had those like Olympic jackets, like those kind of like windbreakers. I kind of started thinking about, I think that I liked the Olympics more as a kid than I do now, for sure. And I don't know why that is. I think maybe you just kind of, for me, I think I was generally a lot more into sports as a kid than I was now. But also they had the Olympics in my hometown when I was in high school. So I there was like this whole other component.
Oh, no way.
I'm from Atlanta, and they had the Olympics in Atlanta in '96.
Right.
So, but it was that thing where I was kind of like, oh, I'm digging these like early '90s Olympic fashions. I think I like.
Yeah. Well, this was also like the year of Dan and Dave, the Olympic powerhouse duo. I quickly had to Google. It's like, when exactly was it? And it was in 1992 Summer Olympics.
That's right.
And so like there was definitely a lot of Olympic hype going on.
I have literally not thought of them since that moment. Like, I have not thought about those two guys.
I think I try to find opportunities to bring them up, but I've never found it until right now.
Wasn't the story that one of them made it and one of them didn't or something like that? Or, oh no, I gotta look this up. This is crazy.
Well, they did Reebok commercials. Yeah, there's a bunch of the Legend of Reebok's Dan and Dave ad campaign that's told by Dan and Dave from Washington Post. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely going to be reading that all night tonight.
Oh my God. Has there been a 30 for 30 about them or something?
Ooh.
So you're saying 30 for... I'm like, has Ryan Murphy done an FX miniseries on Dan and Dave yet?
Oh my God.
Can we get like an I, Tanya for Dan and Dave?
Oh my God, I would die. That would be so good.
I also love how this movie starts in like post-bang sesh in Olympic Village.
Oh yeah.
The whole like Olympic Village thing is such like I don't know, everybody wants to know what it's like inside there. And this just starts off like, that's already done.
Can I tell you something? So, okay. So the Olympics in Atlanta were in 1996. Okay. And so basically what they did was they basically, like any time the Olympics comes to a town, you have to like get it spit polished for the entire world stage. So they just started like building all this stuff that didn't exist in Atlanta. Like we needed to build like an Olympic pool and a track and field thing and all this shit. So they built the Olympic Village. So they had the Olympic Village downtown that they turned into dorms for my college. So I went to college the next year. So they had so it was the Olympics in 96, and then I started Georgia State University in downtown Atlanta that following year, like the fall of 1997. And so I lived in the Olympic Village the year after the Olympics.
Holy shit.
And
that's amazing.
It was fucking sweet. Like, I was like, first of all, they were like apartments. And so you would have these like little 6-bedroom or 4-bedroom apartments. There was like so you had your own room, and then you shared a bathroom with one other person, because there was like, basically a bathroom for 2 people. Meanwhile, my boyfriend at the time, who was going to the Georgia Tech, which was literally across the street, he was living in the classic bunk bed, college dorm scenario where you're like basically living in one room with another person, and you have to put up shower curtains to like separate yourself to have privacy. But like, I was living in the Olympic Village, and it was so awesome. And like, all my friends were jealous. And then I kept thinking like, man, I wonder like how many athletes, got up to some like no good here in this, it was awesome. But every time I watch The Cutting Edge, I think about that.
That's so cool. I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah. See, you say Olympic Village, I think Munich. So, I prefer the Cutting Edge experience.
Yeah. You think? Just a little?
Yeah, just a little.
So, Dan, you mentioned earlier how you had a remake idea for this. Do you want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of details, but I got 2 words for you. Baz Luhrmann.
Hey, very good.
Because what are you going to do? They've already remade The Cutting Edge 500 times, and it's, Cutting Edge, Heart and Soul, Fire and Ice, a song of skates and dates. I don't know. But I just want to see a Baz Luhrmann like throw in some like crazy pop song medleys. Am I saying make it a musical? I guess whatever Baz. if Baz Luhrmann wants to make it a music, I throwing in some pop songs in there, couldn't hurt. I'm not saying go full Moulin Rouge, but I think about what he did actually with Strictly Ballroom, and I think about the way that he shot those dance scenes, and
Right.
I think a Baz Luhrmann cutting edge would be, I think would be able to get back to the heart of the story, but show it in a different light.
Yeah, you could do
Baz Luhrmann's light.
You could have, okay, hear me out on this. You could have your Baz Luhrmann, colorful, stylish, over the top, ice skating,
figure skating
musical.
Yeah.
Or you could take it and make it real bleak and understated, like an Ingmar Bergman movie, where it's like maybe it's taking place in like a very like snowy small town in Scandinavia, shot in black and white. Like it's definitely about like the class politics of like Doug Dorsey and Kate Mosley, where her father is basically like maybe a Trump-esque type of figure, and he is basically from this like rural village, and you can have it be like almost like that movie Cold War or something like that. It's real like understated. It would be awesome to see like both of those interpretations like happening maybe at the same time.
Oh my God, I'd love it. I love it.
The Lars von Trier cutting edge.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I would love to see like Paul Thomas Anderson do the cutting edge.
Yeah. Oh my
Yes.
God. I would absolutely love to see that.
Absolutely. I'm just trying to make you laugh. I'm just
No,
but I would love to see it. I truly would love to see it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see like Ralph Fiennes as Pamchenko. I think that Timothy Chalamet has to be in both of these.
So it's an A24 release?
Of course it's an A24 release.
Yeah. No, so okay. Ray Fiennes. Yeah,
oh my God,
I didn't even think about casting. All I thought was like, how do you take this and like revive it and give people, give them the cutting edge, but give it to them differently and still make it worth watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even
watch it.
casting wise. I don't, And then there's also the idea that came up during this of just remaking it where it's like a pro wrestler who becomes a figure skater. And
right.
Yeah. I feel like The Rock and Dave Bautista are too old, but you could get a Hemsworth and that'll pass. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know how old John Cena is. He seems to be in things a lot, but you can easily get like an MMA guy, whoever's like on the scene right now. And, it would be like a kind of a daddy daycare type of thing.
Conor McGregor. Yeah, Conor McGregor,
right.
Yes. Conor McGregor and Natalie Natalie Portman's probably even too old? No. Natalie Portman?
She's Pamchenko age by now.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to like someone to play like a real like a rich bitch. Like that's the key is like the rich bitch. And I'm trying to think of who
like Florence Pugh.
Yeah. Oh my God, that would be so awesome.
Yeah. Oh, so that's Florence Pugh, Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah. An A24 production.
Sorry, Florence Pugh and John Cena. I like that.
Oh my God, I would die. That would be so tight.
So, Millie, you've already shared a few ideas. I was wondering if you had anything else up your sleeve for a way to bring back the cutting edge.
I mean, God, it's interesting. I mean, I do think that DB Sweeney, there needs to be like a DB Sweeney resurgence. I swear if we got them to come back together, you know how they do this where they remake the movie and then they put the old actors in like a sneaky role. Like maybe even DB Sweeney could play like the evil dad, like not the evil dad, because I guess he wasn't that evil, but he just was sort of like a rich dad.
Yeah. I honestly love the high and lowbrow idea of it. Like I like
having it be this like lavish production, and then also like a real moody Scandinavian
that's so
director,
cool. I like that a lot.
Polish director, and then also, I mean, you did talk about A24. I mean, you could get Robert Eggers, who did The Lighthouse, to try this. Like maybe bring in like some of that like Nova Scotian vibe to it. Like I honestly feel like they didn't lean into the location, I think, as much as they probably could have. Like I like the snowy stuff that they did. I really like all those scenes. But really like lean into the ice and the isolation of training, like how they've got to isolate themselves. And Robert Eggers would like destroy it, make it like a moody thriller. It'd be great.
I'd be down.
So many possibilities.
I'd be totally down. Yeah.
All of them. I want to see all of them.
My idea was actually to do a proper sequel and to fulfill the blood pact to bring back D.B. Sweeney and Moira Kelly. So in mine, Doug and Kate have been bitterly split up for like 15 years, but they are reuniting for a charity event. So they have to come together to raise the like $10 million for like Planned Parenthood or whatever. But then there's also their child from the maybe this is a canon sequel, the second one, and they have to rescue her because she's been kidnapped by ICE terrorists. I don't know what that means, but
I love ICE terrorists.
Do DB Sweeney and Moira Kelly just go all like gung ho, and then like they find Pamchenko's like stash of weapons and
totally written down on the Dead Sea Scrolls by the Pamchenko.
They go back to Scandinavia, and hidden in some ice shack somewhere is just this cache of weapons. And
that other guy, remember her first coach who was like the guy he kind of was like a diehard villain type of guy with like an overcoat, and like he was just like, I want to see your ass in the air. You got to bring that guy in for some kind of sinister.
I saw him and I could have sworn that he was the team owner and the company owner from Ladybugs. He looks so much like him. It's not him, but I was like, that's him, right? It's got to be him. But it's like they have the same exact face and attitude.
30 million people just called their families in from the kitchen to watch the replay. What do you think this is, Kate? Junior Pairs, 82?
Chester, you keep up the good work. This time next year, you'll have 10 men under you.
Hey, Dave, can you make it women?
Chester!
It's the guy who got the job instead of him.
Pretty much. It's just like, how about you do Ladybugs? I'll do this ice skating one. Sure, we're the same person.
I mean, they did. If we made his character like an arms trader, or like something, he was basically like, or do the thing where they did it in Suspiria, where we could do the thing where he's like the coach of this renowned underground ice skating society, like a school, kind of like John Wick or something, where like you like turn like ice skaters into assassins or something, like
Ice-assassins?
Oh my god!
It's amazing. I'm into it.
Oh my god! I just
love it.
Spit out my gum. Thank you.
I hope it wasn't a fresh piece. But so I was curious because, John, how my mind works. And I guess, so
sadly,
I'll explain a little bit to Millie that I don't remember a lot of important things, but I do remember like movie release dates.
Okay.
Very well. And Ladybugs came out on the same day as Cutting Edge.
Did it really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
March 27th, 1990. I had to look up and confirm because I'm like, I swear they were both out at around
I knew they were like same year,
spring
but
break.
Same day? Wow.
Same freaking day.
That's a good double feature. Those two right
God.
there.
That's amazing.
Sports, romance, a Romeo and Juliet type.
Yeah.
From star-crossed lovers. There we go.
Yeah.
Except no one
So,
dies.
is there anything anyone else wants to add about The Cutting Edge that we didn't talk about before we wrap things up?
Gosh, I don't know. I will say that the last thing I will say, I think, is that there's like a line, like the running gag in the movie is this toe pick joke.
Oh, yeah.
So to me, anytime I swear to God, anytime I mention The Cutting Edge online and on Twitter or something, somebody invariably comments toe pick, period, like, or something. Like everyone, that's all anybody remembers about toe pick. And I was like, I thought they really like milked that too much. I was kind of like, yeah, it's funny, sort of, but now they just keep saying it. There's an entire toe pick sequence where she just keeps saying toe pick like you're. So that, to me, was, after I read about toe pick, I was like, oh, that's like a really kind of obscure thing that they just leaned on very heavily as a joke in this movie, which is that you have to really know how ice skating works, and you have to know the difference between hockey skates and figure skates. And I'm like, I'm 12 years old. I don't know how to do this research. I don't even know what this joke means, but I laughed at it. And then it wasn't until I was an adult that I said, okay, like now I understand this joke. It took me 20 years or whatever to figure out what toe pick meant.
Yeah, I mean, there's that bit where he's in the very first thing and he has the skates and he's like, what is this? Referring to that. And it's like, I was like, okay, the skates are different. I don't know.
Yes.
But what does it do?
That makes sense.
That's what I was kind of like, well, what does it do and what
is it just for stopping, like, or slowing down? Like,
is it for those tricks where you gotta like go up on the front tip of your skate and I don't know what I'm mimicking. I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I'm miming something with my foot, which is under my desk.
Yeah.
You're the only people who can see me right now, and I don't know what I'm doing with my arms. I look like like I'm choking.
Well, yeah, I know. It's like if you want to do if you're trying to do like a real broad rom-com in the style of The Cutting Edge, why are you putting some stuff that I gotta like heavily research is all I'm saying. So I had to Google what a toe pick was, and so essentially, yeah, you're right. It's basically like, it's like a little tooth thing at the end of figure skates so that you can do your little tricks. With hockey skates, they don't have that, and apparently as a hockey skater, you use the front of your skates differently than a figure skater would. So basically, like paragraphs and paragraphs of reading later, I figured out what the joke meant, is that he didn't know what a toe pick was, didn't know why he was falling, like why, so it's like, I don't know. To me, I'm like, all right, that's a very obscure skating term that I had to research. Thanks a lot.
Well, also, I mean, did that deteriorate your enjoyment of this movie since you first saw it in like 92 or 93?
Really?
Probably not.
No, it absolutely didn't. But I also feel bad for my younger self that kind of just laughed without knowing.
That's what we do, though.
We've all got those where we watch the movie in our 20s and 30s and we're like, oh, that's what that meant.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's got rewatchability. That's all.
That's all you know.
Yeah.
Layers, layers, and layers.
So, Millie, is there anything that you would like to promote?
Not much. I mean, I'm on Twitter. I tweet a lot about movies and also random other things. It's just first name, last name, Millie De Chirico. TCM Underground comes on every Friday night at 11 p.m. on the West Coast, 2 a.m. on the East Coast on TCM.
And TCM has a new podcast?
They do. Yeah, we just started this new podcast called The Plot Thickens, which is about the director Peter Bogdanovich, and kind of chronicles his whole life and his career. And it's our first podcast, so we're really excited about it.
Awesome.
It looks really cool. I've been meaning to listen to the little like trailer for it, but it looks pretty awesome. So Millie, you curated our next few weeks of programming. Would you mind telling our audience what Dan and I are going to talk about on the next episode?
Yes, so you and Dan are going to be watching Kindergarten Cop.
I don't know if we need to watch it, to be honest.
Need to? No. Want to?
Absolutely.
Look, I mean, yeah. We'll talk more about it, but yeah,
this will give me an opportunity to finally watch the Dolph Lundgren sequel.
There was a sequel to Kindergarten Cop?
Straight to Netflix, I think.
Straight to Netflix.
Oh,
yeah.
no. Yeah. I love Dolph Lundgren, but I mean, wow.
Exactly. So, Millie, thank you so much.
Thank you
for talking with us. This was so much fun.
Oh my God, I'm so happy that you guys had me on here. I'm so happy to be talking about the cutting edge. I'm glad you guys liked it. Like, I was a little nervous, but I'm glad you found enjoyment.
Yeah. Well, thank you, and thank you for our month of May.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. So exciting.
Yeah. All right. So then I shall now bid you all a good journey.
Yeah, in the spirit of Dolph Lundgren. Good journey.
Yes, in the spirit. Good journey.
So, Coach, I was thinking about the music for our routine.
Right. We're gonna skate to one song only. Lady Humps by the Black Eyed Peas. What you gonna do with all that junk inside my trunk? I'm gonna get you drunk off my lady hump, my lovely lady hump.
I'm not skating to anything with references to lady humps. I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.